Okay, here's my finds from the day. Since I found a little bit of everything, I thought I'd make a short video here how I clean all these coins. I know I've had the question come up a couple times, so I thought I'd go over how I clean each one and what I use to do it. So I'll set up the tripod here and I'll go over things and hopefully give you some insight on how I clean coins. Okay, here we go. Two of the things I use. This is a simple nail brush. It's got a little bit stiffer bristles than your toothbrush does. I use this toothbrush on all the silver, and then I use this to clean everything else with, just to scrub it down really good. I'm going to start with the large cent. Usually I turn on the water a little bit, get wet. Just squirt some soap onto the brush. Scrub it clean. Now that's going to get all the dirt off of it, but a lot of the details won't show up on it, so I'll take that to the next step and show you how I do it. Let me finish cleaning these others, and we'll do it step by step here. For all my copper and clad and everything, I just use this brush. Clean it the best I can. And then for the silver, depending on the age of the silver, I may or may not use baking soda to help shine it. But typically on my older silver, I just put some soap on the toothbrush and clean it up. And then I leave it alone for the older stuff. Now for like the Washingtons and the Rosies and a lot of the Mercuries, I'd go ahead and put baking soda on it. I just like them to shine, and you know, I never sell my coins or anything anyway, so, and over time they'll tarnish again. This is a pretty worn seated dime. But just clean them all with soap and water first. Let me finish up and then we'll go to the next step. I'll get back with you. Okay, after I'm done washing them with the soap and water and the brush, as you can see, these old coppers, you know, you lose a lot of the detail. They turn kind of a rusty brown. So the next step I do on these is I will take an SOS pad to it, and I'll just lightly go over it. And I don't, you know, I just want to take off the grime. I don't want to go clear down to the bare copper, but I just want to remove some of the old grime. So we'll scrub on it for a little bit and then look at it and scrub a little bit more. I use the SOS pad on anything that's cooked or crusty or not many of the details are showing. Here in Ohio, you know, I've mentioned it a few times that the limestone, anytime you dig anything out of stone, the limestone here in Ohio eats them up pretty bad. So some of the Indians and wheat pennies I get, I'll do the same thing. But typically the your green Indians and stuff, I'll just wash them and then go over them with a toothpick, which I'll show a little bit later. Now, the details are starting to come out on this a little bit better. You can also use, you know, regular steel wool and soap. It doesn't have to be a SOS pad. And the more you scrub, the more it comes out. And this works really good on nickels. I don't have any nickels. Maybe I can go get an old nickel and walk through it while we're doing it. But this works really good on nickels too. Then my next step is I have a brass wire brush that I use that I'll show you. And that's what really cleans up the nickels and these coppers really well. That's kind of my secret weapon. Okay, as you can see, the copper's starting to come through. So I'll probably stop for now and then use the brass wire brush for the rest of it. I'll get back with you for the next step. Do this nickel real quick here so it's in the mix. Usually they're red, you know, when you dig a nickel. And then I just scrub it with the brush to clean it, and then the same, take the SOS pad to it. The nickels contain a certain percentage of copper, and after they're buried in the ground for a while, the copper comes to the surface, and that's what gives them the red color. So I'll just scrub it with the SOS pad at first and get it looking as good as I can with it. The more you scrub, the more crud you'll take off. So, you know, check it every now and then to see how it looks. I think it looks pretty good since I had previously cleaned this. Okay, I moved out to the garage. Excuse the mess, but it is a workbench. I've scrubbed these. You know, I've got a fatty here, a store card, and 2 flying eagles, the large cent, and of course the nickel. But anyway, this is my secret weapon. As you can see, it's got soft brass bristles on it, and it's made by Tech Spray, and it's the Tech Brush number 2025. I think you can get on Tech Spray's website and find this, but you can also buy it at MCM Electronics, and that's mcmelectronics.com. And I think they sell it for like $10 or something like that. It's been a while, so I really don't know. But anyway, I just take this brush and scrub over it. And it really brings out the details, gets in between all the letters and numbers. And this is how I clean the large cents, my wheat pennies. The wheat pennies I don't use the SOS pad on. They're usually pretty good shape to where I can just come out here and use this brush on them. And then I do the same thing with the rest of the coins. And as you can see, this is really going to shine up the nickel really well here. And I don't think it shines it too much like using a buffing wheel. You know, it doesn't make it look like a brand new nickel. It just brings out the nickel color in it. And you can see how dark this is. And she'll just shine right up and get in between the letters real nice. And then when I'm done with the front and the back, I'll take it and do the edges separately, like so. And it looks pretty good without being abrasive on the nickel. And then what I'll do, my next step, because since this is a brass brush, it does leave a brass color on some of these. When you rub it, it comes out as brass, kind of the yellowish. But what I do then is I just take some motor oil that I got laying here, old motor oil, and rub it on the coins. Also helps protect them some. And then that cleans off the yellow color from the brass brush. I just dip my finger in it and rub it on there. Then take a cloth and wipe it dry. And that's how I clean my coins. The coppers and the nickels. So I'll go ahead and finish these all up. And then I'll show you how I clean the Indians. And then I'll take a close-up of all the clean coins. I'll get back with you. Okay, for the green Indians, you know, your normal Indians that aren't fatties, and you know, your really green wheat pennies, I just scrub them with the brush with soap and water. I like the green patina. If I would use the brass brush on this, it would take the green patina off and make it look like a new Indian coin, and they just don't look right like that. But what I do is I just take toothpicks and just go around and scrub everything with the toothpick to bring out the details and get the dirt from in between the letters and around the edges. And it's kind of a tedious, long process. But the wood's softer in the coin, so you know there's no damage to the coin. I'll go over it real quick, the whole thing, and then I'll get a new toothpick with a sharper point and go in between the letters and stuff. Do the same thing on the back. But I think you get the point, and I'll go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you all the coins, how they look when they're clean. Okay, here's the clean coins. I don't know, like I said, I'm sure coin collectors out there are gonna cringe when they see this video and see me cleaning these coins, but please remember that they are all dug coins, and they've been in the ground for many, many years. So you have to do something to bring some of the details back. And I do not recommend doing this on collectible coins. Once again, these are just coins in my collection. I doubt I ever sell them. And once again, you know, they are all dug out of the ground, metal detecting. So please keep that in mind and keep the comments at a minimum. because you know, I know it's not a good thing to clean coins, but once again, you know, some of these have been in the ground for over 100 years, so you know, you need to do something to bring back some of the details on them. Let's start with a large cent here, give you a close-up of how it looks. And as I said, this method, you know, it's not taking them down to the bare copper so they don't look like new coins. It's just cleaning them up just enough so you can see the details. You can take it down to bare copper if you want by using these methods, but you know, I still want the coins to show their age. If you know much about your fatty Indians and your flying eagles, you know, they're made out of different material and they're a lot thicker. And one of the reasons that I read that they changed from this thicker style is they were hard to stamp. So the details on them aren't that great to begin with. When the coin is new, you know, it's not very deep. So when you dig them and they're this old and been in the ground for that long, a lot of the details are gone on them. There's just nothing you can do. But once again, I like to clean them so you can see the details and at least know the date. It is pretty amazing that I dug a 57 and a 58 in the same field in the same day. Flying eagles are just hard to come by. It's still got some of the oil on it. And then the buffalo, you know, I just threw it in. I did not dig this today. I think I dug this last year sometime. But I wanted to show how well that brush does on nickel. And again, it just cleans it more or less back to nickel. It doesn't buff it and make it all shiny like a new nickel. But it does take all the red off, and you get the red off in between all the letters and numbers and the details. And then here's the Indian penny I went over with the toothpick. Once again, I like the green patina, so the toothpick is pretty harmless on it. And of course the seated, this is a pretty bad worn seated silver dime, but I wanted to show how I clean. You know, the silver are the easiest to clean. Basically just soap and water. And there you have it. I'll show some close-ups or some stills of all the coins together. I hope you find this information valuable, and let me know if you got any questions.